Greetings, everyone. This course presentation is on understanding unprepared students. So, why is it important to study the subculture? A good resource to learn more about unprepared students is this book by Kathleen Gabriel entitled Teaching Unprepared Students Strategies for Promoting Success and Retention in Higher Education. And in this book, Gabriel discusses the growing number of academically unprepared and at-risk students enrolling in college each year. Other studies have found that many students are entering our higher education institutions ill-prepared for the demands of higher education, and that more students are entering college without the basic skills needed to succeed. Another reason to study this subculture is in order to create effective support programs. As more unprepared students walk through our doors, it's vital that we understand them so that we can know what social and academic supports will be the most beneficial to them. A third reason to study this subculture is part of campus retention efforts. What I mean here is that the characteristics of unprepared students increase their risk of dropping out. So Gabriel notes in her book that the cost of losing these students can be high for the students, their families, and the universities that lost them. Lastly, kind of also with this, I also believe that as student affairs professionals, we have the obligation to help all students succeed and graduate, including those admitted who were unprepared. So, in order to gain a deeper understanding of the characteristics of unprepared students and their growth, I conducted 2 interviews, both with female first-year students at Messiah College. They were also both conditionally admitted students, which means that their application, so either their high school GPA or SAT or ACT scores, didn't meet the college's admissions criteria, but admissions believed that they still demonstrated the capability to succeed. And as conditionally admitted students, they are required to take a foundational study skills course during their first semester. A little bit more about the students. Catherine lives on campus and is currently majoring in social studies education, although she's not set on this major, and she does not have a job or a work-study position. And Brianna is a commuter student who's majoring in health and exercise science. She is determined to be an occupational therapist, and she has 2 jobs. So she works at the fitness center on campus, and then off campus, she also works at a nursing home. And both jobs are related to her future career goal. Throughout my interviews with both Catherine and Brianna, it became apparent that each of them were moving through Chickering's first vector in developing confidence. When asked if she feels that her courses and tests are challenging at Messiah compared to high school, Catherine indicated that she did not yet feel comfortable with her study skills, and she responded, "Yeah, even studying is hard. I know I should study more. I know I will be studying more. Next semester, I know I will because I'm taking harder classes and more credits." Brianna responded to these 2 interview questions in a very similar way. Brianna also mentioned that the tests are more challenging at Messiah College compared to high school, and the increase in credits and course difficulty also seems to worry her. And she stated, "I get a little scared. I know it's going to get harder. I'm just trying to take it easy and finish the semester. I'm happy I got through this, so I know I will be able to get through the next semester, just that it will be difficult." While both girls demonstrated progression through Chickering's first vector, they differed in their development level regarding the third vector, which is that of moving through autonomy towards interdependence. It was evident through the interviews that Catherine felt independent of her family, capable of making her own choices, and confident in her own decisions. She grew up in Columbus, Ohio, and she chose to attend Messiah College because of its Christian values, location, and institutional objectives. And Catherine said, "I looked at Cedarville University in Ohio, which is pretty close to where I'm from, but I liked Messiah's campus, and it's a good college, and I knew a lot of people going to Cedarville, and I wanted to go to somewhere not in Ohio." So in her explanation of how she made her decision to attend Messiah, Catherine did not mention any influence from her family, and this desire to move away from her friends and her family, it demonstrates that she desires this independence and this interdependence. Brianna, however, showed a dependence on her family for reassurance and approval and support. And when she was asked in the interview how she made the decision to come to Messiah College, Brianna first explained that her dad actually works at Messiah College, and so she's grown up coming to the campus. And then she also mentioned that while she looked at Liberty University in Virginia, she added, "I really liked that college too, but I know that's a really big college, and that my parents didn't really want me to be away from them for the first 2 years, so I decided to come here." Another difference that was apparent between Catherine and Brianna was their position in Chickering's sixth vector, which is developing purpose. Although it's not generally until their junior or senior years that students progress through Chickering's last three vectors, Brianna seemed to already have a clear vocational goal. Her chosen major of health and exercise science and having related jobs working at a nursing home and Messiah's campus fitness center demonstrate that she's made meaningful commitments to specific personal interests and activities. And her desire to be an occupational therapist drove not only her study habits and grades, but also the jobs she chose to hold while attending college. Catherine, however, was just starting to wrestle with issues of purpose. When asked what the biggest challenges were that could keep her from achieving her dreams, Catherine actually countered with, "What if I don't have a dream or dream career?" And then she continued, going along with the whole idea of finding yourself. "That's something I'm struggling with, like finding my passion and figuring out what I really want to do." I also used Aston's theory of student involvement and Schlossberg's theory of mattering to better understand Catherine and Brianna. During our interview, Brianna seemed to recognize that her dependence on her family and living at home was actually affecting her ability to develop mature interpersonal relationships with other students on campus. And she recognized that she could be more involved and more social if she lived on campus. And then, however, while Catherine did live on campus and was actively involved in several organizations, her interview responses indicate that she is still struggling with feelings of mattering and validation. So, unlike Brianna, Catherine, who lives away from her family and her friends, actually needs more professors and peers at Messiah to affirm that she's noticed and cared about and needed and appreciated. For my formal observation, I observed a lesson in the required foundational study skills course for conditionally admitted students. And using Perry's theory as a way to understand my observations, I found that the majority of the first year students were dualist thinkers. The students clearly relied on their professor to tell them the correct answer, and they really struggled to share advice and ideas with their peers. For my informal observation, I watched 5 conditionally admitted students while they ate lunch at the Falcon, and from this experience, I noted the importance of friendship in student communities. The group consisted of 3 Caucasian students, 1 Latina student, and 1 Asian student, and although these 5 female students remained quiet in class, they appeared to be friends outside of class. A key influence noted by Chickering and Reeser is the importance of friendship in student communities. And they wrote that communities should encourage regular interactions between students and include people from diverse backgrounds. So, as each of these girls comfortably interacted in a diverse group, it was evident that they were developing mature interpersonal relationships, and each student really seemed to accept the others and appreciate and respect their differences. Lastly, is this question of how is higher education serving the growing unprepared student population, and how can we do better? I know that, like Messiah, many other colleges are requiring a study skills or prep course for unprepared and conditionally admitted students, and I think that this is certainly a step in the right direction. However, more supports clearly need to be offered. And just that idea that if colleges are going to accept more conditionally admitted students, then they need to be prepared to handle them and have more faculty and staff on campus that are dedicated to supporting these students and to tutoring them and working with them and teaching them how to learn and how to study. I also think that, professors need to be prepared to really clarify their expectations and to explain the differences between high school and college, and that more faculty just need to be willing to invest and really care about first year and conditionally admitted students. And finally, I just learned from this project that the difficulties that unprepared students are facing, especially at Messiah College, both emotionally and academically. And it really just affirmed how important it is for these students to be cared about and supported if they're going to progress and to do well during their college experience.